Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, whatever the case may be for you. We want to welcome you to the IKoK, the International Koalition of Krones chat. This is June 22nd, 2020, here where I live in Southeast Texas in the U.S. So we want to thank everyone who's joined us live. We're very honored by your presence, and we look forward to sharing this evening. And we also want to thank those who will join us in no time and no space by listening to this chat in the recording on YouTube. So thank you, everyone. We are truly honored. I'm Essence Ka, founder and one of the Krones of the International Koalition of Krones. We did share in that this evening on this chat, we would be talking about the difficult and the uncomfortable. And we have looked at that a little bit, and we're going to go even a little deeper. We really want to, and this is not, before we do though, is anyone that is here this evening with us live have anything they would like to say or comment or ask before we do? If so, you can unmute yourself or ask it in the chat if you would rather not do it verbally, and we can address it. So up to you. I am going to share that after the last chat, well, let's start with this first. Let's start with this point first. Okay, the 2277 dual frequency that was a really big part of our last chat 2 weeks ago, and that is very strong during this time of the alignment, energy alignment with the great initiator, the heart of Laniakea. It's, you know, you just have to, you have to love this journey. You know, I do. I think a lot of us do, especially when we have those aha moments, as we call them here, and those things that line up, that just those puzzle pieces that fall together, and then we go, oh my gosh, look at that. Can you believe it? This was one of those. And we had that, the Krones had that in conversation when we realized that right about the time of the last chat, I believe it was, that the 2277 dual frequency, I'm going to read it real quick and then I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit. It says, I read it earlier, but I am the form of the sacred structure of collective reality known through the awakened divine rational mind. I build reality upon the foundation whose cornerstones are honor, integrity, responsibility, and expansion of sacred perspective. I am the master builder of collective galactic realities. To our delight, as the IKoK, we realized this is our fourth chat. We're new. The IKoK is new. We are only 2 months old, which seems in some respects impossible, in other respects not. But this is our fourth chat, and we came to realize that the topics of each of those chats fell perfectly in alignment with those four cornerstones. The first one, honor. If you haven't listened to these other three chats, you can find them on YouTube and listen to them. The second one, integrity. The third one, responsibility. And the fourth one, the one we're here tonight, this afternoon, wherever the case may be for where you are physically on the planet, the expansion of sacred perspective. That's what we're doing tonight. We're setting the fourth cornerstone of this sacred work coming together, all of us, not just the three Krones of the IKoK, all of us. After the last chat, another frequency came in, And it came in so interestingly because I can't remember now, maybe one of the other Krones can remember, if we had the topic for this chat before the second one, or excuse me, the third one was completed. Did we, Ariane? You remember? Okay. But anyway, and because what we're going to talk about is what Ariane and even Kabaha, but especially Ariane, has touched on already, is what has happened within this spiritually awakened starseed light worker, new age community, all those terms, you know, fit, we can use them in general sense, and the changes that we have seen over the past decade or two, and not all of them positive, and that's what we want to talk about tonight. But what came in 2 days after the last chat, the chat of responsibility, all right, was the 655 dual frequency. And when I heard it and I received this, the I am phrase for this one, it was like, oh my gosh, that is the starseed frequency. In other words, it is the frequency, the I am phrase that clearly states the starseed mission, because that's what's happened over the last 2 decades, we're going to say, and actually even further out, and I'm going to explain a little bit about why and how and all of that in a moment. But so many starseeds have forgotten what the original starseed mission is. So here is the Metatronic numerology I am keyword phrase that is the starseed I am phrase, or the starseed mission, you could say, and is the 655 dual frequency. And it says, I am that which is aware of the responsibility of clearly hearing the voice of love. I am responsible for anchoring love's message of rebalancing within the collective field of humanity. I am Starseed. I don't know about you, but every time, but this time more so than ever, reading that and hearing that and feeling that energy, absolute goosebumps. our confirmation sign, our starseed confirmation sign, let's just call it. Okay, I'm going to read it one more time. So everybody really bring this into your heart, bring this in. Understand that if you are starseed, and chances are if you're here, you are starseed. This is the original mission statement, simply put. Let's just say it that way. I am that which is aware of the responsibility of clearly hearing the voice of love. I am responsible for anchoring love's message of rebalancing within the collective field of humanity. I am Starseed. Before I start sharing more information that I am charged with sharing this evening in this chat, I want to first and foremost say that by no means am I sharing this information as a way of judging anyone else. We're all human, even though we're starseed. Part of that, we agreed to come here and incarnate into human form, and therefore we took on the responsibility of being human and having that experience, that human experience, along with trying to remember and to fulfill the mission of Starseed that we came here to do. So everything that I'm sharing, I share with love, and everything that I share, and I know I'm going to go ahead and in this moment speak for the other 2 Krones, because I know them well enough to know that we share in the hopes of being of assistance to others. Okay, we're not perfect by no stretch of the imagination. Are we perfect human beings? But, and I'm going to say this because this is what I'm hearing, okay, to say right now. Not just are we perfect starseeds. Starseeds are perfect. Even if some have become lost, okay, You're a perfect starseed. You are loved. You are honored. Okay? If you've become lost on this journey, which is so easy to do, a starseed manifest in human form, so easy to do. And I'm going to explain why. A few points why it's so easy to have become lost and why we're seeing so many of our starseed brothers and sisters who appear lost, who appear confused, who we look at and we look at all this information, especially on social media, that's being shared around and bandied about, and there's a form of insanity almost. No, well, not almost. There is a form of insanity that is unfortunately becoming stronger and stronger. Okay, so with that shared, everything that I offer this evening, I offer in love. I am Starseed. Okay, where to begin? For me personally, a little bit of my personal story, which those of you who know me well enough know I don't do that. I'm pretty private. But in this lifetime, I began my personal awakening journey almost 45 years ago. I've seen a lot come and go on this path that we call spiritual awakening, starseed, new age, light worker, whatever you want. I've seen it all, in the sense of I've seen all of those phrases come in as new and then kind of weave through and end up, some get thrown away after a while. I've seen so many changes. But tonight we're going to address why we are seeing so many starseeds now that have lost their way. I don't know how else to say it. They've simply lost their way. They've simply gotten off track, forgotten the mission that they came here to do. Okay, and like I said, it's easy. So we're going to go back. We're going to start, I think, this talk with 1987. I think that's far enough back. 1987 was harmonic convergence. For those of you who are new, newly awakened, and I know 2012, we saw a great influx of awakened starseeds. 2008, I'm just throwing information out here right now. It'll all come together. Just bear with me, take the information in. In 2008, which was halfway between the last dual Venus Sun transits, okay, of 2004 and 2012. 2008 was known as the year of the great coming together. It was the year that a lot of starseeds, who, especially starseeds who were Blu-ray, who came in on the Blu-ray and who were first wave Blu-ray indigos. Now, I recognize some faces here this evening who were actually a part of, who came together when we found each other in 2015 on the Facebook site, through social media, on First Wave Blu-ray Indigo. And that was an amazing place. But in 2008, up until then, pretty much, especially Blu-rays and Blu-ray Indigos, okay, had kind of stayed hidden, stayed back, because when we came in onto this planet, the frequency, that's why we're indigos, but we came in on the Blu-ray. All right, we came in that way because the frequency wasn't even high enough then to support an indigo, a full indigo. So we had to come in on the Blu-ray and sort of pave the pathway, if you will. Our job was to come here as first wave Blu-ray indigos. Our job was to come here and as Blu-rays and raise the frequency of the planet enough that indigos could get here. Okay, as a spiritual generation I'm talking about. Okay, now, no, this wasn't quite, remember, all the puzzle pieces are going to fall together here in a little bit. So what happened was, once we had done that work sufficiently, then the indigo generation, or the indigo ray indigos, began coming onto the planet. The reason that they were so necessary as indigos, anyone who understands spiritual generations, and each has their specified field of expertise, let's just call it, okay? Indigos are what are known as system busters. So they came in to assist humanity, the collective consciousness of humanity, okay, in restructuring, necessary restructuring, so that the entire collective consciousness of humanity would have more and easier access to exponential and expediting mass spiritual awakening. Blue rays and blue ray indigos. The blue ray is the ray of wisdom and teaching. So I'm here, I'm just sharing the information as I'm hearing to share it, okay? Blue ray indigos, it is your time to step up. You, in so many ways right now, you are the elders, the spiritual elders, the spiritual generation elders of this planet right now. That's a hard thing for blue ray indigos to do, though, because blue ray indigos tend to be introverted, to be shy, because we came in, once again, when frequencies it wasn't even safe to have conversations like this in public, much less spread all over the internet, okay? The world was a very different place. And those of us who've been on this path for a long time remember those days. We understand. Okay, 1987. So what has happened? Why are so many, and I'll be perfectly honest, that sharing this type of information in a venue like this is outside of my comfort zone. For those who have been following me for a very long time, some of you are probably going, okay, what happened to Essence? When did she start doing this work? Well, I'll tell you when I started doing this work. About 2018, basically. 2018, a lot of us at the Lion's Gate and Dragon's Gate realized we had finalized the sacred contracts we had come into this planet on, in other words, incarnated to humans as starseeds. We'd finalized those contracts, those sacred contracts, the sacred work we'd been doing for many years. And we went into, now some simply renewed those contracts. And this is, this is just information. Some renewed those contracts and continued that work, but as a, maybe at a, like a next, what's the term I'm looking for here? Like a next phase, if you will, on that contract. In other words, it got intensified. The work became intensified for them. And some others, such as myself, actually finalized those contracts completely and went into training for new contracts. And believe you me, they have pushed me and pushed me and pushed me, that new contract, way out of my comfort zone, until I'm here this evening talking about stuff that I honestly never thought I would find myself talking about and sharing information about, especially in a venue like this. But what has happened and where we're at as a collective and as a global society, we really don't have a choice anymore. We have to step up. One of the things that has become extremely clear, okay, because even myself, okay, for all the years, like I said, I've been on this path for almost 45 years. And I have been teaching in one way or another, at one level or another, just like Ariane talked about. It's a journey, okay? I've been growing just like everyone else for 25 to 30 years. In 1987, harmonic convergence happened. Harmonic convergence was when the starseeds, we'll say, and light workers, the collective consciousness of humanity, whatever, stood up and said, okay, enough of us are awakened. And some of you have been around on this path a long time may remember, okay, what was told then, what the prophecies were then, was that if, okay, this is where prophecies of the second world, the third world, the fourth world, and the fifth world all come from across our planet, okay, in these cultures. Because time and time again, the collective did not reach a minimum point of awakening and basically had to start over. okay, in the process. In 1987, at a harmonic convergence, enough humans, enough starseeds were awakened on the planet to the point of remembering who they were, why we were here, and what we needed to do, that we came together consciously and intentionally and said, okay, we're here, to our galactic family. Okay, we're here. We're awake and we're ready to step up and take on more responsibility for co-creating our reality. Co-creating our reality is step one. And when I say our reality, I'm talking about the reality of Earth, okay? Collective consciousness of humanity of Earth. That's only step one. Because 2020 is the year we begin going galactic. It's our first steps, our baby steps into awakening and consciously and intentionally connecting to our galactic family and taking on another giant leap of responsibility, because the truth is, okay, we're not alone in this universe. We're not even alone in this solar system, much less this galaxy or the entire universe. All right, we do have galactic family and intergalactic family and universal family. Are we in physical contact with them on a planetary level yet? No. But we will be. When we're ready. We have to step up. We have to take on the responsibility. Now, okay, 1987, harmonic convergence began or occurred. And the Great Awakening in full, I guess you could say, in one sense, the Great Awakening really began. All right, the Great Awakening, what we're in right now, began in earnest. You can say in 1987, because that's when we said, hey, we're here. We can do this. We're going to step up. We're going to take on our part of the responsibility. Not in kindergarten anymore, just like Obaha stated when she was sharing. Okay. Well, this is a realm of duality. Always has been, always shall be. It's meant to be. We knew that when we incarnated into human form. We came here to experience existence in a realm of duality. Okay, so it is. Is it completely out of balance right now? Holy moly. In my opinion, oh yeah, it's way out of balance. That's the point, okay? Balance. Balance. Cannot say that word enough. Balance. Once again, I know I keep going back to harmonic convergence, but it's for this evening's information. It's kind of that talk. So what happened was, okay, great. You know, our galactic family said, all right, good, they're ready. Let's go. So we started. The escalation of awakening of individuals in this collective awakening began, and it took off like a rocket. Okay. Those of you who've been on this path for a while, and especially back that far, you know, you remember. Well, what happened was, because we're in a realm of duality, which is actually a part of the experience, remember? I use the term I use is the shadow side forces of light. You have to have, in a realm of duality, you have to have both. Light, most people just say light and dark. So we'll just use that for simplicity's sake, okay? But as long as they are in relative balance with each other in a realm of duality, the existence within that reality is balanced. I mean, you know, it's not too extreme one way or the other. But the shadow side forces of light, they are those who, years ago, I still find this humorous, just something that, you know, I thought was humorous that came to my mind one day. Who are they? They are those people who choose to remain anonymous. Shadow side forces of light, okay? It is truly, as hard as this is, and I don't remember if it was the last chat or the second chat, I touched on this a bit. As hard as it is for light workers, starseeds, those of us who work on the side of light, let's just say in this realm of duality, as hard as it is for us to comprehend and understand and remember constantly, even those beings, those humans, those non-humans, because let me tell you, this is another thing that most people don't remember on a daily basis, I guess you could say. What comprises the collective consciousness of Earth. Okay, and I'm not talking about the collective consciousness of humanity. The collective consciousness of humanity is just humans. But the collective consciousness of Earth, the collective consciousness of humanity is only about 1/5 of what comprises the collective consciousness of Earth. So we're not going to go into all that detail of that. That's not what this is about tonight. But one of those other fifths, let's just say, that comprise the collective consciousness of Earth are what we as humans call extraterrestrials or multidimensional beings. In other words, they're not here in human form like we are. So the shadow side forces of light, some here in human form, just like but in other words, they are, believe it or not, as hard as it is to comprehend, they're actually doing their sacred contractual work just like we are. That's hard to remember sometimes, especially from the human perspective when we see the craziness that's the play on the stage, the illusionary drama that's the play on the stage. And we go, oh my gosh, what is wrong with people? You know, we all do it because it's like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with people? You know, well, they're humans. They're playing a part. Okay, so the shadow side forces of light, it is their sacred work to be the tug of war is what's coming to mind right now. So I'm going to use that term. The tug of war, the tension, okay, between light. In other words, but is this, and if you've ever read, I think it was Alice Bailey. I think it was Alice Bailey. I'm not sure, Bailey, or I don't think it was Blavatsky, but wrote about the ring past naught. Okay, the ring. I know a lot of information, guys, sorry, but that's how I work. Information flows and I have to let it flow because it's being brought forth by the group that has assembled here in live time and in no time, no space as what is necessary to share at this moment. What we call chaos, okay, which is really just an energy, first of all, okay? Because remember, we work in the energy realms here. We're Starseed. Our Starseed work is energy. It's not really about the physical stuff. Yes, we have to do the physical stuff and interact with it. That's the human portion, though. So we have to keep the human and the Starseed in balance. That's not easy either. And that's what's happened. Okay, shadow side forces of light. They saw after 87 and the escalation, the extremely quick escalation of individuals awakening, they were like, oh, whoa, 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 slow down the buggy, Sally. All right. Because too quickly, and I'm going to use terms that are used in today's way of sharing this information, okay? They very quickly saw they were going to be losing control of the matrix because of the awakening. So somewhere in the early to mid 90s, and I don't know how many, by show of hands, anyone here been on this path over 20 years, over 30 years? Okay, it's okay. I see one or two. That's good. Okay, but we go back to the early to mid 90s. The shadow side forces of light actually told us. They told the forces of light. We'll just use those two terms, okay? They told the forces of light, we're going to take you down, and we're going to take you down using your own information. Whoa, we went, whoa, wait a minute, when they told us that. I remember that. I remember that energy. I can feel it again right now. And I remember us at that time, in linear time on Earth, going, Okay, that's a little scary. I see a few heads shaking, remembering. And we thought, oh, wow. Okay, all right. So, and what it did in those few moments, and when I say those few moments, I'm on linear time, I'm talking about over the next, I'm going to guesstimate 3 to 5 years, there was every once in a while it would sneak in when you would hear some information. Because remember, back then, the information wasn't at your fingertips like it is now. You actually had to go hunting for it. Okay. And you actually had to go out and find people who even knew what you were talking about, or you even felt comfortable talking about these things with. But because of what the shadow side forces of light told us, I mean, come on, you got to give them credit. They were up front. We're going to take you down, and we're going to take you down using your own information. And thus began the manipulation of energy and the matrix, as it's called in today's terminology. Over time, one of the ways, okay, but going back to that, just to finish up there real quick, in those times, that was, you know, what would happen was, because we knew and because we weren't as connected as we are now, like I said, it was harder to find information, you know, it was harder to find people to connect with. When you did, when they would send that thought, or when that thought would creep into your mind about what the shadow side forces of light had told us, you would go, oh, wait a minute, can I trust this person? Can I trust this information? Okay. So in a way, it's, you know, in retrospect, everything, you know, what they say, hindsight is 20/20. In retrospect, it kind of honed discernment for those who paid attention. Okay, now fast forward a little further, and shadow side forces of light, I've written several things. You go to my website, you know, check it out, different things over the years. But what they did was, they're going to bring you, okay, remember, we're going to bring you down, and we're going to do it using your own information. Fast forward, and conspiracy theory is born. Those of us who've been on this path a long time remember when conspiracy theory was born. We remember it worked much differently than it does now. It was actually, when it began, okay, it was actually used that the shadow side forces of light, any information that Starseed or forces of light shared, that shadow side forces of light deemed dangerous to them. In other words, oh, we don't want too many starseeds or too many awakened people knowing this information, okay, because they'll know too much. They can use it against us, okay? So they began attaching the term conspiracy theory. Now, when I say they began attaching the term conspiracy theory, I'm talking energy here. Remember, we're still doing energy work. But these are how it manifests in physical reality. So the term conspiracy theory began being attached to any information that they didn't want believed. Fast forward a little further, we're going to bring you down, and we're going to do it using your own information. And the next thing you know, they have turned that energy into, and they honed it, and they manipulated it. Because remember, just as we are, okay, in our remembrance of, and our awakening to, and our further expansion of consciousness as the individuals in working in the forces of light, let's just put it that way, masters of knowledge, information, and energy, so too are they in the shadow side forces of light. They have the masters. Just as we have master teachers of the light, they have master teachers of the shadow side forces of light. They took conspiracy theory and they turned it into a spiritually energetic drug. And they laid it out and designed it specifically, energetically designed it specifically to attract starseeds and addict them. Now think about how drugs in linear or in reality, okay, or real world, whatever, physical world, there it is, works, and what it does to the form, how people become addicted to it, what it does to them, what it does to their thought processes, what it does to their bodies, what it creates. That's what happened. Starseeds were purposely and intentionally targeted by the shadow side forces of light with a spiritual, energetic drug to addict them so that they would forget, let go of, lose memory of their original work they came here to do as a starseed. Okay. That's pretty heavy stuff. I know it is. I'll be honest, it's not like I shared earlier. I never thought I would be sharing this type of information, especially on a venue like this. But the point is, we no longer have the luxury of not stepping up, of not speaking the truth. Okay, we're not judging our brothers and sisters, our starseed brothers and sisters. We are not judging for one moment. Okay, I think any of us, okay, who has even dipped a little toe into the pool of conspiracy theory over the years of this journey, and I can't imagine that anyone hasn't, to be honest. Okay, you have to know the information. That's the other point. You have to know the information, but you have to stay in balance. You cannot allow yourself to fall victim to the addiction, the trap. It's literally a starseed trap that was consciously, intentionally manipulated and created and directly handed to starseeds. Said, here, taste this. That's all it takes sometimes. Balance. That is why, as the IKoK, the Krones of the IKoK, the information that we've shared tonight, Kobaha, sharing the information that she shared about working with the high heart, expanding it, okay, opening it, mastering it, okay, the stones, the information about stones, the simple ones, you know, just a starting place even, the information that Krone Ariane has shared. All of this is simply to say, Starseed, please, please look within. Have you become trapped and ensnared in what was purposely set before you for just that purpose? I'm going to very quickly, I shared something on Facebook today. It was an image and a meme that I was shown and given to share. I'm going to read this very quickly. It's the image for those of you who haven't seen it. You can go to the IKoK or to my teacher page, my Essence Ka teacher page, and see it. But it's an image of 3 golden cattle standing on a pedestal in front of a field of stars with the an image of an eye. It says, the image shared here of the idol of the golden calves and the cosmic eye of self on a background of an expansive field of stars is a symbolic message to starseeds that many of them have forgotten their original mission and are following false idols. Currently, we find ourselves at a point where many starseeds are following those they have put on pedestals who are spouting untruths. Because of this, they have, either intentionally or unintentionally, rejected and turned their back on their original mission to Earth, a sacred mission they once vowed to honor. Most of those who stand upon these pedestals have they themselves been caught up in and come to believe the untruths they broadcast to others as truths. Yet there are those who know full well what they broadcast as truth is false. Some continue to do so because of ego and feeding a sense of self-importance, while others do so because, for any of a myriad of reasons, they consciously support an agenda that desires to derail the expansion of universal consciousness. This image and its symbolic message are a call to all whom know their self to be starseed to look deep within and with an eye of honesty, integrity, and responsibility to self and to the universal collective, take a hard look at self to answer the question that asks, are you still following the true mission of starseed you vowed to traverse when you originally came to Earth? Or have you fallen prey to the addiction of macabre, titillating energies of false idols and untruths? It's hard work. We know it is. It's not easy. But it's why we're here. It's who we are. We can do it. You can do it. We all can do it. And together, let go of I'm hearing let go of the addiction, starseed. Remember who you are. Remember why you came here. Remember the love. The love. I am that which is aware of the responsibility of clearly hearing the voice of love. I am responsible for anchoring love's message of rebalancing within the collective field of humanity. I am Starseed. I'm feeling called to go ahead and end the share of information here. There's much more, but I think this has been sufficient for this evening, for today, on this chat. These are extraordinary times on Earth, and extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures, as is often said. It is, as Kira said, it is no longer enough to be just human. We have to awaken. We have to remember. Starseed, don't beat yourself up. Do not. Because in the greater picture, it's a journey. It's a path. And even though we may not be able to see the end result right now, like Ariane was talking about, a return to love is all that's called for. A return to your mission. A return to remembering who you are. And we go hand in hand. We go hand in hand forward. I would like to go ahead and ask if anyone has anything they would like to say or a question they would like to ask. Also, let it be known that we're getting ready to finish this evening's chat. Afterwards, after we finish the recording, we will stay on for any who want to stay and chat afterwards for a few moments. You're more than welcome to. Ariane, Kabaha, you have anything you would like to say as we begin moving into our meditative state to finalize this chat?
No, I think you've covered everything pretty well there.
Kabaha.
Yes, no, I agree with Oriane. I think the message you just gave us was, well, so powerful, but well said, Essence. It was not easy. It was so, yeah, I know, but beautiful. So balanced.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm not a crybaby. Okay.
Oh, you touched a few people today.
I hope so. It is our desire. It is our desire. Starseed is our desire as the Krones of the IKoK. The going to lead us into just a few moments of group meditation, and it will end this chat on the sound of silence after I read once again the Starseed I am phrase. So if everyone would just find a comfortable position and take a few deep breaths, bring yourself into center. Connecting heart to heart. Consciousness to consciousness. Starseed to starseed. Starseed, you're loved. All that is required is simply stepping away from the addiction, from the energies that are actually feeding the shadow side forces of light agenda, and returning to your original mission of love. I am that which is aware of the responsibility of clearly hearing the voice of love. I am responsible for anchoring love's message of rebalancing within the collective field of humanity. I am Starseed. Kara unche prana. I am the ancient future breath of life. Kara unche prana. Kara unche prana. Kara unche prana.